What's up, kitchen table wizards? What's up, deck brewers from all over the world? Today we're back with a deck and we're going to build around wizards. Now this deck was a lot of time in the making. I actually promised to brew it for someone. Her name is izzetstar. She's also a magic player and she loves making magic altars. Now I personally don't own a lot of altars, but I really think it's cool and I want to show a little bit of her work to you guys. So what she does is she paints on top of your card to give it a really personal touch. So you can have a manga version or a really wiki omnat or a turtle ninja. That sounds familiar. I also really like this strip mine strip club she did and the great merchant of asphodel that brings along some toilet paper and of course Yidaro, the wandering monster that turned into a duck. Now when I see the name izzetstar, of course I think Izzet, I think about wizards, blue, red, counterburn, so this was the road I was going on to, but then Wizards decided to throw me some curveballs. And they made this card, which I really liked, and then afterwards this card, which I also really liked, and as a true person with ADD who likes brewing janky decks, I decided I throw in white and let's make a Jeskai deck. So sorry izzetstar, I think you need to change your name now to Jeskai Star. Nothing I can do. Now before we head into the deck, a little word from our partner Cardmarket, the best place to find your Riptide laboratory and to be eligible for a voucher. The only thing you need to do is subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below. Tell me which is your favorite wizard in Magic the Gathering. Now lately I've been watching YouTube a little bit myself. A lot of YouTubers, they talk to their fans and they say, hey, let's get to a number of likes. So let's try this. I will brew for you a Helion deck. If we get to, on this video, 1000 likes. What? What the fuck? Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Or maybe it will happen. Who knows? So as always, of course, we need to start with the basic lands, the flavor of the deck. Let's look what we have in store. We play 14 basics as I want to have my lands ready to use on turn 2 and 3. For the flavor, I didn't went to Ravnica because we're not playing Izzet anymore. We're actually going to follow the road to a magical castle with a lot of wizards. And this road goes to this beautiful plain of John Avon, next to some mountains of Jonas de Roo, and it will finally arrive at this castle by the sea full of wizards. Now in this deck I like to have my mana to come into play untapped. So I added a few other sources to my deck like the Shivan Reef and the Prairie Stream. The 3 temples come into play tapped, but they're nice for the fixing and try to play them on turn 1 if you have them in your opening hand. Fabled Passage helps us get a basic land and Mystic Monastery is a tap land, but it gives us all the colors.
Well, don't stop now.
Oh, I see Saruman also joined the party. Okay, let's show him some more wizards. This deck can hit hard, but it's not super low to the ground aggro, so I only included one drop creature. And for the reason I also like this one is in the late game it has haste and it's quite good against control decks. The core of this deck is built around these 2 wizards. When you target the Beam Splitter Mage with an instant or sorcery, you can copy this one and target an extra creature, which is pretty nice. Now one thing I need to mention is that a copy is not casting a spell, so it won't trigger prowess twice. And talking about prowess, the hardest hitting wizard in the deck is certainly the Storm Chaser Mage on turn 2. Burning Prophet is a common, but I really like the stats and the text box. It has a pseudo prowess ability, it scries, it's pretty powerful, and the toughness of 3 is also quite good. Dreadhorde Arcanist is next to the Snapcaster Mage maybe the most powerful mage in the 2-drop slot. But Snappy was just too expensive to put in the deck, so I included the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Now 1-3 red mages are the team these days, and I also found this one. The Magmatic Channeler is a recent one from Zendikar Rising. It starts out small but can easily become a 4-4, and it also provides us some card selection. Originally I had the wee Dragonauts in the deck, but it just got an upgrade in the Umara Mystic, so this is obviously a better choice, which also hits very hard in the air. Now 3 mana also gives us some legendary creatures to choose from. Adeliz is a Storm Chaser mage on steroids, as it can boost your whole team when you cast an instant or sorcery. Jory N makes up in card draw what he lacks in aggression, and in this deck he will guarantee you a lot of extra cards. And this little angel wizard is one of the reasons I went Jeskai. 3/3 flying for 3 mana is nice, and he can also protect our whole team, giving it indestructible or hexproof. We just don't really care about the whole party thing in the text box. Let's just skip that.
Forget about it.
Now some more legendary wizards. Naru Meha is our wizard lord. It gives our team +1/+1, flashes in and copies spells. The only downside is maybe the double blue mana to cast it. But I think it was worth the risk. And then of course we needed to have Kykar. This magical bird...
Ah, did you say a magical bird?
So as I was saying, Kykar works well with all the spells we're going to play. And the army of spirits we can even use to generate some extra mana or as blockers. Now this fellow also likes us to play a lot of spells in one turn. Each time we cast an instant, sorcery or a wizard spell, the Rockslide Sorcerer deals 1 damage to any target. So if we do this with the Sage of Inward Eye, we can have him shoot things while gaining life. And this one is especially nice versus the aggro decks. If you successfully manage to attack with lifelink, this can mean a difference between life or death. Or as Gandalf the Great Wizard would say,
True courage is about knowing not when to take a life, but when to spare one.
Okay. Thank you, Gandalf. Not sure what this has to do with the Sage of the Inward Eye. Let's just look at some spells, right? Defiant Strike can draw us 2 cards with the Beam Splitter Mage, and Fight as 1 is also very good in our deck, as we play a nice mix of humans and non-human mages. Blue is definitely in there for the evasion, with Artful Dodge that dodges twice, and Slip Through Space, which gives us an extra card. Like the Artful Dodge, Reckless Charge also can be played twice, and Summon Strength gives a boost, scries and gives haste. The Boros Charm is maybe the best charm ever printed, and I included 2 copies in my deck. When targeting a creature, it could give it double strike to attack, or you can save it by giving it indestructibility, which is no fun for a control deck. And worst case, you can also cast it to hit face for 4. The only pure removal spell is Fall of the Hammer, to deal with problematic creatures your opponents may have. Fist of Flame is a card I really wanted to test out in the deck. I think it works well with Yori N, Defiant Strike and Beam Splitter Mage. And when you cast a Temur Battle Rage afterwards, you can just straight up kill an opponent in 1 attack. And if you need some protection, then you'll still have Shelter to save the day. Now so far I talked about 59 of the 60 cards, so we'll have 1 left. Sunforger might be a little bit slower, but it's the ideal equipment for the deck. It can search for up to 14 target spells in our deck, so it's good value that helps us look for answers. Now let's look at the power rankings. This might not be the most powerful deck we've ever brewed, but it synergizes super well and it also is a lot of fun to play. You'll mostly be playing a tempo strategy, so it plays more offensively than defensively. You can pick up the deck for around $40, so it's really a good bargain. The deck plays a little bit better against creature decks than against non-creature decks, but it has a lot of card draw, so against control it can hold its own as well. Only against combo decks it's a bit more difficult. So this was the deck. Now I need to tell you a little bit of a story before we finish the video, because this deck really took some time to make it. You can ask izzetstar, I contacted her a long time ago. Now there was this card I really wanted to brew around, and in the end it didn't really make the list, but I do want to give it an honorable mention because it has some nice combos. I'm talking about the Battlefield Thaumaturge, which didn't really impact our instance as we play a few that cost more than 1 mana. Now let's read the text closely. It says each instant and sorcery costs 1 less for each creature it targets, not each creature we control. So this means we can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Let's have a look. Playing it with Sea God's Revenge, which normally costs 6 mana, now only costs 3 mana. And what about this one? Icy Blast your opponent's whole board for just 1 mana. Pretty sick, right? What else? You like to play tokens? Just change 4 of them in 4/4 dragons for 2 mana. And now my personal favorite. Destroy your opponent's full board of strong creatures and turn them into a bunch of swines for only 2 mana. So these were some cool combos if you ask me, and maybe I do need to brew something around this card. Maybe if we can get to 1,000 likes with the Helion deck, I do both. Now I do have one more thing to announce. That's of course the winner of the Cardmarket voucher. Let's see who won this week. Congrats, Joseph Ruiz. Check out the description below how to contact me to claim your voucher. And if you're still here, thank you for watching. Keep on brewing, and as always, keep